Welcome, everyone. I'm Mariquita Solis, representing the vegan community. I am a harmonic earth healer, a vegan empowerment coach, and a certified climate healer, which I'm so proud of with Dr. Silas Rao. I'm also the leader of the animal ministry at Unity North Church. And that also just warms my heart to be able to speak up for animals because that's my passion, being a voice for animals, Mother Earth, for human animals. So let us know where you're joining from in the chat. And we've got some great faces here that I recognize and I love. And this is going to be a beautiful event. This Passion Pod event, It's Not Your Fault, is with the esteemed Linda Middlesworth. She is our vegan mentor. And this Passion Pod event is part of our bigger community, which is the vegan community. And during these holiday times, we have many events. And so that link to check out our events is coming in the chat. So please check that out. And so our Passion Pod event is called It's Not Your Fault. And you might wonder, what does that mean? Well, it means when you come to this Passion Pod, this is a safe place to express your feelings and discuss how we are very heavily influenced by the standard American diet. We'll talk about shame and guilt and how we handle these issues. We're also going to talk about practical tips moving forward. And our guest of honor is Linda Middlesworth, and she is, again, a vegan mentor. Her life is dedicated to helping people, planets, and Mother Earth. She is a Food for Life nutrition and cooking instructor for Dr. Neil Bernard's Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. She's on the board for T. Colin Campbell's Center for Nutrition Studies. She's certified in plant nutrition under Dr. Campbell. And one amazing thing which really warms my heart and touched Linda's also is she won the Voice of Compassion Award from Dr. Neil Bernard, PCRM.org. And no one better deserves it than Linda. So welcome, Linda. I am so honored to be here with you and everyone here.
Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. And thank you, Mariquita. Her work is so inspiring to me, and you can find it anywhere all the time. She's so active. I don't know how she does it all. But anyway, thank you for your amazing work, getting the message out to help people, the planet, and the animals. And that's my passion too. So we have a lot in common, she and I. So it's very nice to be on here with you. And today I would like to focus on, I want you all to discuss with me. This isn't just me talking, okay? I want you to feel like you can say anything you want. This isn't about being vegan. This isn't about blaming you for how you got your body in bad shape. I know for myself, when I started, I was 44 years old. Now I'm 80. And when I was 44, I was a pretty sick mama. Even though I was teaching 25 classes of aerobics a week and doing a graphic design job, I was so busy and I loved both my jobs, and I had a great family with 3 kids. But I was my fattest then. I was 55 pounds overweight. I also had cancer, heart disease, prediabetes, let's see, what else? Oh, high blood pressure, severe heart disease. And I really was on death's door and had I had a new neighbor, Frances. I had just moved next door to her, and we had dogs. So we were walking our dogs around the park, and she said um, that she was a plant-based eater. And I said, oh, I don't know what that is. And I started telling her all my health issues. I told her, listen, I am so sick. I'm scared to death. I have cancer. I mean, when you get that word cancer thrown at you from your doctor, by the way, your doctor who knows nothing about nutrition even, and now I know, I didn't know he didn't know. It's the scariest word in the English language besides you're going to die of a heart attack soon or something. But because, I think Dr. Akil can acknowledge this, but I think heart disease is our number one killer. And I was going to die from both of those right away. And my doctor said, you're going to die of your heart disease before your cancer, Linda. I was so scared. I was crying. Oh, I couldn't sleep. I didn't know what to do. But then my new neighbor, who I just met, said, "Oh, Linda, you could just, you don't have to die, Linda. Don't worry. Don't worry. Oh, just look up Dr. John McDougall." And I said, "Who?" That was 36 years ago. And I went home right away and bought his book at that time. And I read it 3 times. And by the time I was done with it, I thought, okay, I can do this. Everybody was getting well. His clients, his patients were getting well. This one lady had cancer for quite a while, and she had done a whole year of chemo and radiation. And the doctor for her said, your body hasn't removed the cancer, but we got to give you a break. So let's take a break over the summer and convene again in the fall. Well, during that break, she was Googling around and she found Dr. John McDougall. Thank goodness for the internet. And she read his book and she went on the plan and she went from size 18 to size 4 and she lost her cancer, never to go back again. And when they called her, they said, "Come on back. It's time to goodbye," because she got well. And that's the thing. Then I found out just by reading hers alone, you don't have to necessarily die of cancer. I'm not saying people don't die of cancer, even when they eat like I do. I'm just saying a lot of people make it because they learn how to survive it on the food choices we make. But the thing is, I didn't know any of that. Like most Americans are eating the standard American diet. Now, I wasn't eating a lot of like drive-through McDonald's or Taco Bell or anything like that. I wasn't doing that. I usually made our food at home, which right now most Americans are not making their food at home anymore. They're driving through the drive-through because it's convenient, it's cheap, it's available, and so they're not eating at home with their families. They're not making a lot of fresh food themselves for themselves. I understand that people are busy. People are trying to, do their jobs and take care of their kids, and then there's not much time left. But here's the thing, if we don't take the time to learn how to do it, what happens later on, like for me, I was only 44, but maybe it'll happen to you when you're 54 or even 24, but you can go ahead and start getting sick early. And then you have to spend your time not going to the drive-through, but going to the doctor's office and spending time getting radiation and chemo and uh, pills, lots of pills that big pharma and your doctor who's not trained in nutrition necessarily, most are not, unfortunately. And um, so you'll spend your time there. Now that takes a lot of time, and we don't want to spend our life in the hospital. I hate going to the hospital, especially that waiting room. I got a tick bite not long ago, and I had to wait 4 hours to get one antibiotic pill, and it didn't work. Anyway, it's a long story. But so what I want to say is most people don't take the time to read the nutrition labels on the package thing they're buying in the grocery store. And little children are being given those flavored cereals, which are non-nutritive, and they're also probably cancer promoting. And parents are busy, so just want to pour that cereal in the bowl and put the cow's milk on top. And guess what? This is really terrible for them. This is like um, giving them cancer when they're young because Dr. T. Colin Campbell tells us that dairy is our most powerful carcinogen. And I think that's why I had cancer too, because I ate so much dairy. I couldn't walk by the refrigerator without opening it and taking out ice cream or cheese or yogurt or something. It has an opiate-like effect. And Dr. Bernard will tell you, he's my boss as a Food for Life instructor. He will tell you that dairy has an opiate effect. It's like cocaine, it's like crack. And why they have that in the dairy? Anybody know? Anybody want to know why that's in the dairy? Why it's like crack cocaine?
For the
Any
baby cows to nurse.
Yes. Thank you, Beth. Thank you. Yes. The casein in the milk, or the casomorphine in the milk is meant to addict the baby to the mother's milk so she will come back and nurse, or he will come back and nurse and not wander off somewhere. So when we eat the dairy, we become like baby cows, only it's concentrated in cheese and yogurt. And it is like crack cocaine. I know when somebody told me 36 years ago that I should give up my dairy and not just my meat, because that's what I thought I had to do, I almost slugged her. I said, "Yeah, okay, don't you tell me to give up my dairy. I'll give up my meat, no problem. I don't want to hurt animals anyway," I said. She said, "Oh, that does hurt animals when you eat dairy." I said, "I don't know what you're talking about, but don't you dare tell me to give up my cheese. My blue cheese, no. My mocha ice cream, no. No way." So that's how addictive it is. And so when you're eating that way, I understand you if you have that addiction. It is not easy to give up, but I did because I was going to die if I didn't. So anyway, that's one motivation to get people to change, is to have to go through something like I did. I don't want you to have to go through that. I was also 55 pounds overweight, as teaching 25 classes of kickboxing and weight training a week. Now at 80, I'm still teaching those things, but I don't have all that extra weight. And I got rid of all my heart disease, my cancer, my high blood pressure, my diabetes, my everything. I mean, I was on death's door 36 years ago. So I want to be able to talk to you about it because, and believe me, if you have these things, if you're overweight, if you have any health condition at all, it is not your fault. Just like it wasn't my fault back then. Back then, I thought, oh, they wouldn't give you stuff in the store that's bad for you. This is America, right? I thought all the food in the store was good. Now, I was better than most people. I didn't go through the drive-throughs and I didn't buy that many packaged food, although I did the cereals for sure. And the ice cream and the yogurt for sure, all that stuff I would buy. But I did make a lot of good stuff too. But then I also would make special occasion with pizza, with pepperoni and salami and cheese, all the cheese you could possibly put on there. So I was making my family sick. And to this day, I only have one child that believes me that they should eat plants now because I conditioned my own children. And that's what we do as parents. When they're very young, even as a baby, we give them Gerber baby food with pig in it or cow in it or fish in it or chicken. I forced meat onto my babies in those Gerber things. They were so convenient to buy those little jars of meat, and they didn't want to eat it, but I'd say, "Here comes the airplane. Let's get it in the mouth, get it in the hat." Oh my goodness, I can't believe I did that to them. But to this day, I only have one child who believes me that we should eat the way I do now because I brainwashed them. And they are addicted to all the things that come in the standard American diet, which is the salt, the sugar, the oil, and all the processed non-nutritive foods. 60% of the American diet is processed food. 1 in 3 adults is obese, and 1 in 6 children is obese. I saw my 13-year-old son plays on a soccer team, and I was watching the soccer team, and there were 4 little boys on there with my grandson, and they were all obese. And they were really talented with their footwork, but they couldn't run to keep up with the other children. And I was thinking, oh man, I'd like to talk to those parents right now to help them because these little boys look like they needed a bra, and that's the excess estrogen going around in your body. Yeah, men and boys get excess estrogen as well. And that comes from not eating fiber. Fiber takes out the estrogen. And so when you are eating these animal products, the estrogen increases. And then when you're overweight, it increases even anymore. And when you have excess estrogen, that is the cause of what? Cancer. It changes your DNA. And so that's why I had cancer, I'm sure, because I ate chicken and fish, but mostly dairy. And so I just want to tell you that this is a place, and if you can put in the chat anybody who had any similar or any kind of experiences where you feel addicted to food, where you can't get off of it, please tell us. We'd like to talk to you right here, right now. And I know that since I had to be 44 before I found out, I was so angry. You know, when I found out, I said, why didn't I know this? I'll tell you why. The slaughterhouses are not transparent. Have you ever taken your children to see where their meat comes from? No, we don't do that. They won't let you in, and they won't even let you know where they are. I was doing a film 10 years ago, almost 11 now, called Compassion Tour. And I was going to visit all these dairy farms, chicken farms, you name it, and do a movie. So I had 22 people with me on a van called Animal Compassion Tour, and we take off the sign when we get to the dairy or whatever. Anyway, I saw some of the most horrifying things. But when we got to Harris Beef Ranch, we said we're foodies and we're just here to see where our food comes from. Can we take a little tour? And they arrested two of my members and we had to quit the film. Yeah. And that was that. But anyway, we did get one dairy done, and that the unfortunately my photographer took off with the film. That's another story. But anyway, things happen in life, don't they? But tell us how, if you can, raise your hand if you'd like to say anything about your journey and what you struggle with, and we can talk about it. Does anybody want to talk about it?
I'll talk
Raise your
about it.
hand. Okay,
Oh,
thank
go,
you.
John, go
Oh,
ahead and then I'll.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Linda, great to see you here. And
nice to see you.
yeah, same thing. Thank you for putting this all together. This is my first time in your group here, but I could relate everything that you said in so many ways. But I'll give you an example of where I am on my journey. And it just happened within the last 30 days. Everything that you're saying is got a call from my niece in Bangkok, and she was in an
Yeah.
ambulance taking my
Oh,
brother to the hospital who was barely breathing. He was barely
oh,
breathing.
oh.
And he was taken to the hospital. She was in a panic. She called me, and I was, happily sitting at my home, maybe eating one of my great whole food plant-based meals. But my whole life got flipped upside down hearing what my brother was going through. He's 1 year younger than I am. He's 74 years old and I'm
Oh,
75, and he was barely breathing. He ended up spending 2.5 weeks in the hospital. He was on a
oh,
ventilator. He was actually, for 3 days, he was in a coma such that he was basically ready to transition. But, a higher power, God said, it's not your time yet. And he started getting better because, as we all know, the best healing comes from within. And so that's what happened to him. And he spent another week in the hospital. He was about 2 to 2.5 weeks in the hospital. And by the end of those 2.5 weeks, he was absolutely fed up with hospital life. He got no food, no water, and he
oh,
was in there, and they just gave him this chalky substance that was fed through a tube.
oh,
And then on the last day we were there, they wanted to keep him for another 5 to 6 days because they said your stomach is so bloated and you're in such bad shape that your lower intestines are twisted and it could cause a blockage. And that could be the end of you right there. We need to operate on you. And my brother
oh,
and my brother and I had this discussion before because the doctors came in and said those kind of things. And he said, if I spend one more day in this hospital, I'm a dead man. I cannot do this. I'm a
oh,
gone.
good.
And
Oh,
and and the doctor said they got angry, they got pissed off. They said, listen to us because we need you for another 5 days if you want to get better. And even his wife, his Thai wife, and his daughter said, you got to listen to the doctors. And we looked at each other and I said, Jerry, my brother's name is Jerry. I support you. Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here.
good for
And
you.
in
Yeah,
within 2 to 3 hours, we disconnected, whatever he was hooked up to, and we were gone. We went back, and he started. In the back of my mind, I knew because the journey that I've been on, with being whole food, plant-based, exclusive, SOS, salt, oil, and
Yeah.
sugar-free.
Yeah.
I knew I wasn't exactly sure, but I knew how it worked for me, that if I could put them on this way of lifestyle medicine is my thing. And of course, diet is such a huge, huge part of that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought, okay, let's do this. So for 10 days, the very first day, I cooked for them for the first 5 days. Totally, we got all these great vegetables in Bangkok, great food, fruits and vegetables, only 100% compliant. And for 5 days, I just fed him. We just fed him that, and then his wife learned how to do all this. And what happened was, even after the second day, even after the second day, you could see the changes. How
Oh,
how how good lifestyle and eating is medicine. It is the only medicine, and I know I'm preaching to the choir here, and it is the only effective way for optimal health is what you put in your body. And so what
exactly.
happened after that was amazing. Even in 2 days, in 3 days, he got so much satisfaction after taking the biggest dump because
That's
of what he
important.
ate and how it's processed. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
used all my skill on myself that I used for him is with lifestyle medicine, you take one step at a time. And so right off the bat, because his body was basically had nothing in it, we started from a good point where I could just feed him whole food
Oh,
plant. And
that is
I saw
such
the
a
results.
wonderful, wonderful outcome. Thank you so much for sharing that. That is just amazing. I know there's some other people on here who have done some similar things too. And there was also some people on here probably who don't even know what we're doing. So this is really inspiring for them to hear because so many people have no idea, like I didn't 44 years ago. I had no idea that there was such a thing as whole food plant eating, without all the processed food. And
Yeah.
I used to feed my kids hamburgers and hot dogs, the normal fare, because that's what the American way is, right? Cheese, burgers, salami pizza with cheese. I mean, it's really horrifying, but it is the food, folks. It is really the food. And just because you were brainwashed doesn't mean we at the vegan community and me, Linda Middlesworth and Mariquita, we can help you get off this food addiction that you're on right now, because especially the dairy is very addictive. And so we can help you transition. So thank you so much, Tom. That is really a wonderful story. And I'm so
I just
glad you. How's he doing today?
He's doing great, except he's got habits. But I just want to add on to exactly what you just said, Linda, is that what happened to him is we all, that I've really noticed is, we have to hit our rock bottom before we make changes and make these transformational changes. And what happened to him is he was a lifetime. I didn't know anybody who smoked. He started at 16 years old, and at
Oh,
74, he was still smoking. He had When he was in the hospital, I was in his house. I cleaned out 6 bags of half-eaten bags of potato chips that he would munch on. He was laying on the
oh,
couch probably 15 hours a day. That's where he
oh,
would sleep, and his diet was just not good. So
yeah, that's
everything you're saying,
terrible.
he loved
Bad
cheese.
smoking.
When I used to go visit him in Bangkok, he would ask me, "What can I bring you?" He said, "Salami. I love salami." And so, it's a real journey for
Yeah,
me to be where I am as far as
yeah.
where he is and how I can help him.
Well, you are the person who saved his life. So that's an amazing. He must know that too. So that is just wonderful, inspiring story. Thank you so much. Does
Want to
anybody else have
I
want to
make a
speak? Yes. Hi, Akil, Dr. Hicks.
yeah,
Akil Taher.
I just want to make a comment that it is never too late to change one's lifestyle. A lot of people think, oh, now I'm so old. What difference does it make? No. As Tom's brother changed at 74, I
Yeah.
changed my lifestyle at 61 because before I created my own unhealthy lifestyle. But the
Yeah.
last 50 years have been so good that I am better off now than I was when I was 35 years old.
Yeah. Well, you
So
you had how many bypasses?
I had stents put in first, and then I had bypasses, quadruple bypass. But I am living my best life right now.
Thank you. You're a very inspiring story as well. And the name of your book is
Open heart.
Open
Open.
Heart. I love the name of that. Great book, guys, if you want to find out how a doctor changed his lifestyle, because doctors, unfortunately, are not trained in nutrition. They didn't tell you about eating plant-based in your medical training, right? And I don't know any doctors who've had that happen. I don't know one doctor, in fact, who had that happen. Now, some of them find out about our lifestyle after an event happens to them, or they read a book or see a movie or something, but they don't find out on their own. One time I taught my cancer class at the gym, and the breast cancer doctor from Kaiser came to my class with his assistant. After he took my class, he started teaching his patients lifestyle. One class from a Food for Life instructor. I'm not a doctor, I'm a Food for Life instructor, but he saw the evidence. And so when you see the evidence and the science behind it, because I showed Dr. Neil Bernard in my talks and I showed the science. And so he had no way to change after that. He knew that's what you had to do. So thank you so much, Dr. Tahed. That was wonderful. You're just very inspiring. Keep going. You show the other docs how to do it, okay? And everybody in your life. I'm sure you're saving lives all over the place now, too. Thank you so
Another
much.
one good news is that now the Senate and the House are passing of getting nutrition in all the medical schools. It
Really?
is just, yes, yes,
Will
they're going
that
to pass.
happen before Trump gets there? I hope. I hope so. Thank you. That's good news. Thank you.
That.
Um, okay. Thank you so much. Anybody else have anything they'd like to share before we go on? Raise
I'd
your
like
hand.
I'd like to say something like that.
Okay.
Okay, all right, but if somebody else wants to, that's fine. I wanted in a minute, I wanted to talk about the guilt or shame, but go ahead, y'all. Did anyone else want to talk?
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Got me? Yeah. In talking with friends and associates about converting to veganism, uh, oftentimes they will tell me that they've been eating meat or the humans have been eating meat and meat products for a couple of million years, and they just don't see the sense in making the conversion. And we also get a pushback from people who are from a foreign country, and then they tell me um, that it's a cultural thing, that eating meat has been in their culture for all their lives. What do you tell people like this?
Well, I know what I say. I say, do you have any current health issues? And if they're over 50, most people have a health issue of some sort. And I can start from that angle with that. Do you have high blood pressure? Are you on heart meds or something? And I can usually start from the health angle there. And then if that doesn't work, then I'll say, do you have a dog? And sometimes they'll say yes. And I'll say, would you eat your dog if it was a convenient meat item for you? And that'll open up too. They'll say, "Oh my God, I would never eat my dog." Of course, if they were Asian, they would maybe, but like you're from Mongolia, yeah, you'd eat your dog, but I have to use a different animal for that one. But does anybody else have anything to say about that?
See, I don't think that we were anatomically, physiologically ever meant to eat meat. The
Mm-hmm.
gentleman put up, even the gladiators were called barley men who
Yeah,
fought lions.
that's true.
So, ideally speaking, we don't have those cutting teeth to
Yeah.
tear up. We got long alimentary canals so that we can digest our food more. And we got
Exactly.
vision, not the dichromatic vision that animals have. So we can see colors, all different colors, fruits and vegetables. So I think that we were not meant to. And another point is that when we eat all this, maybe when 30, 35, 40, it's like a rubber band. Nothing happens. It keeps coming back when you pull it. But all this manifests after the age of 45, 50. So we
Yeah,
don't
that's
realize
true.
doing is wrong because nothing is happening. But when it
Yeah,
material happens at the age of 50, then we say, oh my God, what did I do?
that is so true. And also what I say to people, I said, now, if you were really wanting a milkshake or something and you're walking by on a path and there's a cow farm over there and there's dairy cows out there and you'd want to jump the fence and start sucking on that mother's tit because you want some milk, just shake a little bit, it'll get milkshaky. Does that sound good to you? Because that's what you're drinking. And that milk belongs to her baby, but baby didn't get it because you took it. Or I say things like, now, if you were really for a good cheeseburger or I'm sorry, a burger, would you jump on that cow and eat the eyes and the anus and the intestines too? And the fur, and you can leave out the bones, but would you eat that naturally? You're not a carnivore if you can't do that. You wouldn't want to that. You got to have it salted and barbecue sauce on it and cooked up, and that's what you have to do. So, yeah, that's not natural. It's not a natural thing for humans. And our intestines are very, very long. Animals' intestines are very short. So you would um, have the meat and the cheese and stuff rotting in yours instead of flushing out right away. So this isn't healthy either. But as far as a cultural thing, Jim, I would say you would say, I know our cultures teach us a lot of things that aren't correct, and I can give you the science behind it if you're interested. If they're not, then you just have to let it go. And you can give an example how in your culture, I was born to eat cheese and eggs and dairy and bacon and all that in my culture, and I gave it up because I got healthy after that. And so that's how you explain culture. Cultural things are habits, just like going shooting animals out in the forest. That's if you were brought up that way, that's what you believe is okay. So, John, let's see. Go ahead.
Real quick, I'd like to express my feelings on my spiritual journey and what this all means. And my spiritual journey just gets it right down to the fundamental is thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not kill. And I
That's
strongly
beautiful.
believe in that. And for me, it gets real simple from there.
That's the best. Yeah. And it's true. When we harm others, we harm ourselves too. So if we want to be joyous, it's hard to, I think a lot of people get depressed more often when they're eating and killing animals because they don't know, but it's indirectly harming their spirit and their whole being because they're being a part of killing. And it's not okay. People, I think, somehow inherently know that, but they've been conditioned to say it's okay. And then if any of you, one of the things that the last thing to give up besides cheese is fish. And I'd
Yes.
like everybody to know that fish feel pain. If you read Dr. Jonathan Balcomb's book, Fish Feel Pain, What a Fish Knows, read that book and you'll find out how they're just like having puppies under the water. You can play ball with them. Did you know that? Just because you can't see their forelegs and their fur, there's no fur, you don't think of them as sentient, but they are. They feel just as much pain as your dog does or you do. So thank you for that. Thank you. Thou shalt not kill. Thank you. Mariquita?
Well, I think this is one of the reasons a lot of people feel guilty and shame. I mean, because I was a vegan. I mean, I was vegetarian, vegan, vegetarian, and because of food addictions and not being able to stick to it, I felt bad about myself. I felt ashamed and guilty. And so I mean, even saying it, a lot of people say, well, you really weren't vegan. And I, I felt like, yes, I was vegan. You know what? I was a human being. And I mean, I could easily be ashamed to say, to admit to people, yes, I screwed up. I ate that chocolate cake, even though I knew that animals were hurting, right? And I think it's a huge thing here that we're dealing with. And that's what this Passion Pod is about, that no one feels guilty and no one feels ashamed, because we're all human beings. I mean, I personally went through a lot of self development and compassion, and I'm a coach, so I know how to get through it. But what about people that don't know how to get through it and they say, I am ashamed, I screwed up, and I don't really love animals, or I can't even say that. I mean, they don't even want to admit it. What would you say to that person, Linda? And
Oh, I have an answer for that. I have many clients, and some of them never, ever, ever want to know one thing about the animals. And I know it's because it's so painful for them. I respect that. And as long as they're trying to get healthy, I'm okay with it. If they're not trying to get healthy, then I need to work a little harder because that has to be the avenue to get them in. For me, it was animals. Well, first I had all that bad health and was going to die. That's my wake-up call. But then the animals, 1 week later, she told me what happened to a dairy cow, and that was it. I became an animal rights activist. But not many people are like me. One sentence about a cow, and I was already there for the animals. Some people don't understand what happens to all the animals, and they don't want to know either. And then they feel guilty, or then more people feel guilty and shame. But what we have to do with guilt and shame is this. We have to stop concentrating on your self and thinking about the big picture and talk about the behavior you need to change. Don't worry about what you've already done and don't feel badly about being in that terrible space where you don't feel good, you're overweight, you're depressed, you're anxious, you're on anxiety and depression pills because you just don't like life anymore and you're depressed. So, what you have to do is take step by step plans for behavior change. You know, you have to learn how to batch cook, you have to learn how to cook at home. I can help you with that on my vegan mentor program, and Metakita can work with you as a coach on that too. But there is so many ways you can get started, and that's where I can help you go step by step. Because if you change your behavior, you change your life. So the behavior has to change in order to stop the blame game. Right now, if you're really overweight and sick, you don't like how you look, you don't like how you feel, you don't like all the medications you have to take, and you think to myself, I did this to me, how awful, I'm a terrible person. If you concentrate on that, you get worse. You have to let go of that and think about your behavior change that can make you a different person. So you need a coach sometimes, sometimes you don't. Either way, you have to take steps to change your behavior. And just so in the next morning, you go, okay, I'm going to get a plan here. I'm going to write out my plan. This is what I'm going to do today, and maybe plan 3 days ahead so that you have available food for yourself in the house that won't hurt you. So you won't be tempted to drive through the drive-through. And if you're really, really busy, there even are some convenience foods. I can show you which ones to buy to help you get through the day. But you got to make steps and plan ahead to be able to change your behavior. And that's what I tell people. Anybody else have any thoughts on that? Oh,
well, I
Medicaid.
do have I have thoughts that just knowing that. So as a coach, as an empowerment coach, it's very important to know that failure is part of the process.
Yeah.
And we have to have compassion for ourselves, as we do the animals. And so when we fail, we have to fail forward. We can't get stuck on that roadblock, that speed bump, right? We don't want to fail and beat ourselves up all day, right? We acknowledge we're human. We're doing the best that we can. And like Linda's saying, get your plan going if you need to work with a coach, right? And know that you're doing the best you can. Some days it's going to be harder than other days. Some days you'll breeze right through it, right? But sometimes, like Linda has been talking about, triggers, right? Like chocolate cake might trigger you, or ice cream might trigger you, because she was saying, how Linda was saying that these things are very addictive. These foods are very addictive. And so that's why we have to have compassion for ourselves, that and be able to recognize it. Wait a minute, I'm falling into the trap again. And now when we're mindful, then we can make changes. We don't want to be on autopilot. Okay, I feel sad. Run to the grocery store and buy a big thing of ice cream, eat the whole thing. We have to be mindful and acknowledge our feelings and call our friends, get Linda for a coach and say, hey, I'm having a weak moment, right?
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed, right? I'm not going to feel ashamed to call you, Linda, and say, I'm about to crack,
Yeah.
because we're
Yeah.
for each other. So that's all I
It's
wanted to add.
Thank you. That's perfect. It's a little bit like Alcoholics Anonymous. If you have a coach, it's nice. You can text them and say, help. I feel like I'm going to fail again. I don't want to. What do I do? It's really nice to have that support system or be in a group like this, even where you have all these wonderful people who are trying to figure it out. They might not be there yet. They might feel badly for themselves right now, but we can't focus on the failure. Like Merakita said, we have to focus on what the steps we can do to get out of it, because and concentrate on that rather than blaming ourselves or feeling badly about ourselves, because nobody's perfect, by the way. Nobody. And there's no such thing. So you have to take it step by step, day by day. Thank you so much. And John has something. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I'll make it quick again because I don't want to dominate the airwaves here with
That's okay.
all
We
my
like what you say.
Um, for me, what works for me is really making it simple and taking it down to the very basics of, what works for me as far as almost like a daily mantra. And it's really transforming what limited beliefs I did have and just really being aware of that. And so when I keep drilling down to my basic fundamentals of who I am and where I want to go with all this, this is my mantra. I come up with this and it works every day for me. It brought me to my spiritual life, and it's God, serving others. May all beings be happy and blessed. For me, that works. That's very
That's
simple.
beautiful.
Prioritizing my life.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. I think the idea that it's kind of like I've seen those videos where there's a poor person on the ground and they're not eating and they have a money dish out there, and one person walks by and hits the dish away. It doesn't even care. And then the next person not only puts money in the dish, but gets the person food and brings it over to them and sits down and eats with them. Hello, this is what I call compassion for humans. And we have to remember that because it's so often involved our own little world that we have a hard time thinking about other people or what they're feeling and needing. And so we have to reach out for each other. We need coaches sometimes too to get through the day. But a compassion for other people, reaching out and saying, how are you doing? And how are you doing now? A week later, or a month later, or a year later. I had planted a seed with a lady who said she's never going to be a vegan. She's never going to do any of that plant eating. And nah, it's icky. I'm not eating salads all day, she said. 9 years later, she called me. I'm ready, Linda. So she probably had an event, right? And so you never know just by um being out there and maybe asking people how they're feeling, and they'll say, oh, I'm sick, I've got this and that, and you can bring them in that way. You can actually bring them into the fold by saying, I think I know somebody who can help you, or yeah, I've had a lot of luck with myself this way. And it was amazing when you use yourself as an example that you are well now and you weren't before or something. That really helps. But being compassionate for everyone, no matter where they are in this life. There's so many people, when I see homeless people walking around with their dog, that kills me because I worry about the dog too. But the homelessness in this country is so out of whack. And that's something I would like to get on that too. I don't know when I'm going to have the time, but I'd like to work on that too, because it's really hard to see people suffering as well as it is to see animals suffering for me. It's not nice to see that, but some people just aren't as lucky or as fortunate as some of the other of us. So, um, okay, Michael,
Linda,
plant-based meals for the homeless. Oh, I like that. Maggie. Okay. Yes,
Linda,
honey. Yeah.
we're coming up on the end, but I wanted you to be able to have time to, we have 10 minutes, practical, compassionate tips for healthier habits, but also Cindy has had her hand raised. So we'd love to hear
Oh,
from her.
sorry, I didn't hear it. Go ahead.
Oh, hi, can you hear me?
Yeah. Hi, Cindy.
Hi,
Hi.
everybody. Well, I wanted to let you know that Linda is a great coach, and
Oh,
I've been coached by her. What happened is I was so addicted to salt. She knows that I had bags of 3-pound bags of salt, and also honey and candy all day long. I was just snacking on all kinds, and she would just text me all the time and tell me, throw all the salt out. I go, and I got panicked. I go, I can't throw the salt out, that's, oh my, I can't live without salt. But anyway, she kept coaching me, and now I'm off of all the candy in my pockets. I had all kinds of, sweets, and I feel bad because my grandkids now are addicted to that. And so,
oh,
yeah. So,
well, you had Halloween every day, huh?
yeah. But thank you,
Yeah.
Linda.
Oh, you're welcome. And thank you for being so good about my coaching, even when I get nasty.
I needed it. I needed it.
Thank you so much, Cindy. That's really wonderful.
So Linda, if you'll share the practical or the
Oh,
tips
yeah.
to get healthier, that would be
Okay.
great.
Okay. I think my number one tip is also would like you to know about Tammy Kramer and Nutmeg Notebook. If you go to her site, she shows you how to batch cook and a whole bunch of great recipes. So, and they're all SOS free, sugar, oil, salt free, because we all get addicted to those things. And salt stimulates your appetite as well as giving you high blood pressure. So that's why we want to take that out. And then oils, of course, hurt your heart by destroying the endothelial cells that open your heart. So don't want oil. And the other thing is salt, oil, and sugar. So sugar is also not good. So we want to eat sugar as fruit. That's our sweet. We have to switch it out. And so, but the thing is, after Nutmeg Notebook, there's some sites I like best. Watch Chef AJ whenever you can. Also, go to Forks Over Knives website and get their recipes, and also Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, pcrm.org. Those are some of my favorites. And then Mary McDougall, Mary's Mini. Look those up too. But great recipes to help you get started, because sometimes you don't know what to cook. And so I think what people need to do is to start simply. I told a guy a year ago he should eat roasted potatoes and always have these on hand. Um, with nothing on them, just roasted potatoes, and then to have quinoa and all kinds of grains on hand, because 80% of our diet should really be starch. That's why I'm 80 and teach aerobics, kickboxing, and a personal trainer. I've got muscles, man, because I have energy from my starch. Starch is the key for that. But I make my clients eat 6 cups of dark leafy greens every day because these are important. And everything we're eating is fiber. Fiber is key for our optimal health. Fiber is what takes out the excess estrogen in our body so that you don't get cancer. So it doesn't form into cancer cells. So it's important to, number one, plan ahead, batch cook. I batch cook every 3 days. I cook everything up. So for 3 days, I don't have to do anything. On the fourth day, go grocery shopping, chop again, and then it's all ready for you just to heat up and eat like you're going through a drive-through. You just heat it up in the microwave, and there you go. Yes, microwaves are okay. Listen to Dr. Greger. He said the worst thing a microwave can do to you is if you drop it on your toe. So Don't worry about that. And then, so what you want to do is the batch cooking and the planning. So if you just say, oh, tomorrow I'll start, but you don't have the food in the house, it doesn't do any good. Also, I want you to always, when you're in the grocery store, to look, if you're buying something in a package, always read the label, especially the ingredients. You would be shocked at some of the ingredients are in there. You have no idea. Like even like the almond milk and plant milks, they have terrible ingredients. They have chemicals in there, like silk and breeze almond milk and stuff. They have vitamin A palmitate. What is vitamin A palmitate? Palm oil. This is not good for us, and it has all kinds of other chemicals in it. So we got to buy Trader Joe's oat milk or soy milk, and Whole Foods has Eden soy and one other one. What's it called? Oh God, slipped my mind. But anyway, write to me. I'll tell you all the lists of the ones I buy, and then also I will tell you what I'd eat, and that might help spur you on to know what to eat. But really, we need to plan ahead. We need to read. By the way, on the nutrition facts, you want to take Jeff Novick's nutrition class on reading labels. Fantastic. It shows you how they misuse it. In other words, it says 32% fat. It's more like 54, but the way they do it, they weigh it a different way, and it comes out with this nice number. It's usually more, way more than what they say. So when you're looking at nutrition labels, read the ingredients and see all the things it has. It has phosphates and all kinds of chemicals. So you glycol and just different things you don't want, stearates and things that have animal products. Most people don't know that most of our packaged foods, like licorice, I used to think red licorice was wonderful. Guess what? It's made with 40,000 carmine bugs. They actually abuse bugs. They grow them in dark sheds by the millions. And like one Nesquik shake has like 40,000 of them in it to turn it red. So we have so many food additives in things you never believe. Starbucks drinks, the strawberry ones, carmine bugs. So I think we're coming to the end, aren't we? But what I want to say is, please write to me or Marquita or go to the vegan community. Please join our big, wonderful group with safe space. Marquita, you want to say more about that?
Well, I want to make sure everybody knows how to get a hold of you. Where can they, when you were saying they could email you, where can they email you, Linda?
A vegan mentor at gmail.com, or text me or go to my website, Vegan Mentor. That's the easiest way because I have a contact page there. But yeah, but I also would like people to be in our community that Mariquita and I are in, which is the vegan community. It's our big safe space where we can do things like this. Tell us what's going on there coming up.
Well, we have a lot of events coming up. I'm going to be doing a feeling and healing event in December. And I'm also going to be doing an Earth listening circle to support. A lot of us feel sad about Mother Earth, to really tune into her wisdom and to honor her. So, and we've got Dr. Angela Crawford has an event coming up. So check out those events. And if we have 1 minute, Linda, I would love to address one question that we have that we missed, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
We got a question from Michael, and it says, if we think to ourselves or tell others that it's not their fault, that they have their body, mind, or spiritual situation as it pertains to their dietary choices, I would think it would be a lot harder for them to feel their power to be and do differently, because one's without fault is not responsible. Can you speak to this, please?
Okay, I got to make sure I understand the question. If it's not your, are you saying if it's not your fault, you're not responsible? Is that the main question?
It would
Yeah.
feel harder for them to feel their power and to do differently, because one without fault is not responsible. Can you speak to this, please? So you're saying, well, I say it's not your fault, and then it kind of takes the responsibility off of them. But I don't know if that's.
Well, I don't look at it that way. I look at it, it's not your fault that you got in this mess. It's not your fault because of our government, our who subsidizes all our meat and dairy and egg industries, but not the plant. And so the advertising we get is all about eating fast food and then all the drugs to go with it. And the supplements, the supplement industry is bigger than the drug industry. And those can harm you guys. Don't take those. Just eat your whole food plant-based. But I think the reason we called it It's Not Your Fault is because I don't know too many people, maybe one, who was born a plant eater. So I think it's really important that way to know it's not your fault. After that, you have to remember that you probably, because you were brainwashed like me, got into some trouble, or you may be overweight, or you're taking all these drugs, or you're taking all these medicines. So then it's up to you to take responsibility. But it wasn't your fault to get in this place, is all I mean by that. Okay, John.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on to what you just said, Linda, is that it's not your fault because of our society, our culture, the way we've been led to believe. And then that, I think that's the next step to taking 100% responsibility as you learn, that you can be responsible for your life, and you don't have to listen to society and what the lies and the crap that we've been taught is so ingrained in you that it almost reaches your subconscious. Well, it does reach your subconscious mind.
Yeah.
And that's where most of us are in our society today. And so I think it's, when we say it's not your fault, that's the next step to taking.
Thank you, John. It's the awareness that you get. When you get it, that's when you can make those steps and make change. But you have to make steps to take your behavior, not blame yourself because you were brainwashed. We were all brainwashed. Kids on the soccer field who need a bra and they're little boys, I go, that family's brainwashed. And so I'm sorry for them, but that's what happened to most of us. And I'm also sorry that people have to have major events in order to get well. But sometimes that's what it takes. And then you have to take the steps. So thank you, John. That really helps. Yeah. We have to take responsibility at that point. So it's not our fault for getting there, is what this means. Yeah. So anyway, I'm hoping that everybody, oh, Akil?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that feeling guilty, as a doctor, I would be very, very guilty because I was always treating the consequence of the disease for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
So would I be guilty right now and say, oh my God, what did I do? What did I do? No. Right now, I'm treating the cause, preventing and treating the cause before it has happened. But I cannot live on my guilt of what I did. I did not do anything better.
Yeah, exactly. And I love what you're doing too. So we need you to get a hold of all the doctors in the world right now and do this, baby. Come on. I'll help you any way I can. So anyway, thank you. I would really, really like to encourage everybody to join the vegancommunity.com, okay? Because on there is where we're going to make the whole world eating the way we are, okay? You don't have to be vegan to be on it, by the way. You just have to be thinking about it or considering it or questioning your eating habits now. Whatever. You don't have to be vegan already to be in the vegan community. This is about acceptance of everybody. But we can help you, guide you when you get on there because you'll have great speakers coming up. And I'll have more passion pods as well. But this is my first passion pod with the vegan community. So I'm very honored to be a part of it. And I'm hoping that all of you will come back for all of them because it's really nice to have such supportive people on here and people who are interested at all. That is just fabulous. I don't know anything better. It makes my heart sing. So anyway.
Yes. Well, yeah, thank you so much, Linda. And thanks everyone for this wonderful gathering. I see everybody's hearts. I mean, we're all here working towards good health for our planet and for our animals. And we are making a difference. So we really are in gratitude for everyone here, your beautiful hearts. And may you have a blessed holiday, and check out the vegan community for support, because we don't want anyone to hurt. We're there for love, and you all are love. So thank you
Thank
again,
you
everyone.
so much, Metakita. Really appreciate you. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, y'all.
Bye.
Thank you.
Oh, bye, Sarah. Thank you, honey. Thanks for coming, honey.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, that's nice of you to come, honey.
There's so much in the chat too. I know you finished, but there's a lot in there too.
Is there questions?
I think somebody answered it. It said, who is the author? Who's the batch cooking author?
Oh,
And then somebody
Tammy,
said Nutmeg
Tammy
Notebook. Tammy Kramer.
Notebook. Tammy Kramer, Nutmeg Notebook.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Hey guys, love to all of you. Ciao.
Thank you, Lynette.
Oh, I guess I have a question. You said, so go on to the vegancommunity.com and then join on there, or what?
Yes, yes, yes. Just go there and join the vegan community. Yeah. We're going to be worldwide. We're going to help the world.
How do you join, and does it cost? And did you already
Yeah, if
talk
you go
about
to
that? Sorry if you
the
did.
vegancommunity.com, I believe, Barat, is that right? You just go to the vegancommunity.com.
Yeah, that would be right. Yes. I've also shared the link in the group, in the
Okay.
chat box.
Okay.
Hello,
Hmm?
are you still online?
Yeah. Oh, I see there are some questions in here.
Maybe the wind gets to be bad. Ooh.
Hi there, Ellen.
Hi, honey. How are you, Linda?
I'm
I couldn't
good.
talk
Nice to
earlier.
see
Yeah.
you.
I I've been with Nan listening to her stuff all the time. Um, you know Nan?
Not sure what's the last name.
Oh, honey.
Simonson?
Simonson or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. I do a Zoom call with her on Wednesday, and I'm always watching Chef AJ and Tammy and all them. I've been
Oh,
doing
good.
now 8 years or so. Only thing I
Nice.
splurge on is grapes and good food, but it's like that sweet. I just crave it, and so if I start on
Yeah.
grapes, I can eat pounds of it. So yeah.
Well, you gotta make it fruit, right?
Yeah,
Make
I
your
yeah, I do. I just eat too much of it when I get started with it, and then when it isn't in season anymore, then I'm fine. I mean, I don't do that with apples or anything else, but those grapes just I don't know, they're sweet.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, where do you live again?
Jacksonville, Florida, and it's cold today.
Oh, is it? Yeah, you
Yeah.
got a sweater on. Uh-huh.
Oh, I
But the
always
sun
have a
shines
jacket on,
out.
but yeah,
The sun
yeah, we're
shines.
sitting in the sun now. Yeah, but it's still windy. But thank
Oh,
you for having it. Yeah, thank you
oh,
for,
thank you. That's very nice. Now, hang on. Join the vegan community so you see all the other
yeah.
events coming up. Yeah, because it's going to be this wonderful,
But is
inclusive.
it But isn't more the vegan? I mean, because I remember Chef AJ always saying that she was a vegan too, and that's just so different than being plant-based,
Yeah,
that
but the vegan community is about including everyone, whether even vegan or not. It's about being open to helping everybody, but in a safe space. So no blame if you're not vegan. Chef AJ is vegan for the animals, but she doesn't talk about it a lot. But
right.
but
But
anyway, we don't we're here to talk about any of it and all of it. It's just the whole vegan community. If you're just a little bit curious, we want you to join. If you don't care about any of it, don't join. But of course, if you
well,
care about your health or your animals or both or the planet, we got to save it because I don't know about you, but I want my grandkids to have water and air they can use, right? And if we don't do something, we're going to lose our planet as well. So we need to all work together for this. And that's where the vegan community comes in. It includes health, animals, and the planet. But if you're only interested in one part, I don't care.
right.
But join
But
us.
I
You'll
mean,
have
people that are eating Oreo cookies and stuff like that, it just, that's not
well, they're
where.
convenient, they're easy, and they're non-food. So they hurt people. And a lot of people don't know that. So
Mhm.
um yeah, yeah, that's right. That's right, Mark, about the animals and deforestation. You're right about that. Um So please write to me too at Vegan Mentor. Go to Vegan Mentor, my website, and contact me if you want to know more about eating healthy or the animals or the planet. I work on all three, so I'd love to have you. I've been doing this for 36 years and I can't do it enough. I just, that's all my whole purpose in being here in life. And I love helping people. I love people getting well. To watch them change their whole lives is fabulous. And it's not that hard, and I'll show you how. You got to make it simple. Doesn't have to be hard. And I'll give you tips on where to go. So anyway, thank you so much. I think we're going to hang up now, right, guys? Thank you for being here. It's wonderful.